High Admiral Krelliver of the Silurian Empire stood before the massive holographic display, his scaled hands clasped behind his back as he studied the blue-green planet rotating before him. Earth, as its inhabitants called it, seemed unremarkable at first glance. But something about this world had been nagging at him ever since their long-range probes first detected it. "Show me the technological assessment again," he commanded. The AI complied instantly, overlaying the hologram with streams of data. According to their most sophisticated scans, the humans had barely managed to reach their own moon, were still dependent on primitive chemical rockets, and had only the most basic understanding of quantum mechanics. They should have been an easy conquest for the Empire. Yet in his centuries of military service, Krelliver had learned to trust his instincts, and something about Earth felt wrong. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Director Elena Santos watched the Silurian vessels through quantum-enhanced sensors that humanity had reverse-engineered from a crashed scout ship 30 years ago. The aliens thought their cloaking technology was perfect, but humanity had long since learned to see through it. "They're being cautious," she noted to her second-in-command, Colonel James Chen. "Their main fleet is still holding position beyond Mars' orbit." "Can't blame them," Chen replied, bringing up additional sensor data on his neural interface. "Our primitive facade has held for 3 decades, but Krelliver's reputation suggests he's sharper than most Silurian commanders." The deception had begun in 1989, when the scout ship crashed in the Australian outback. Instead of announcing the discovery to the world, a coalition of global powers had made an unprecedented decision. Earth would appear to develop normally while secretly preparing for the inevitable conflict they knew would come. The crashed ship had provided more than just technology. It had contained detailed records of the Silurian Empire's expansion across 12,000 worlds. Their pattern was always the same: identify developing civilizations, assess their capabilities, then strike when they were advanced enough to be useful, but not enough to pose a real threat. Humanity had turned this pattern into their greatest advantage. Every primitive satellite they launched contained hidden quantum cores. Every clumsy radio transmission masked sophisticated quantum-encrypted communications. Even their international conflicts were carefully staged to maintain the illusion of a divided species. "New activity detected," announced the AI monitoring system. "The Silurian fleet is launching additional sensor drones." Santos studied the incoming data. The drones were more advanced than previous models, but still relied on the same basic detection principles. They would find exactly what humanity wanted them to find, and nothing more. "Let them scan all they want," she said. "Maintain current emissions protocols." "How are the Jupiter defense platforms coming along?" "Final calibrations are complete," Chen reported. "All 300 platforms are powered down and cloaked. The European shipyards are ahead of schedule. We'll have another 50 corvettes ready within the month." Santos nodded in satisfaction. The massive facilities beneath Europa's ice had been humanity's first major off-world construction project, hidden from prying eyes by the moon's natural shielding. Now they produced vessels that could outmaneuver and outfight anything in the Silurian fleet. In orbit above Earth, one of the Silurian sensor drones passed within a kilometer of what appeared to be a defunct weather satellite. The drone's sophisticated scanners detected nothing unusual about the ancient piece of space junk. It failed to notice the quantum state sensors watching its every move, or the miniaturized antimatter reactor lying dormant within the satellite's hull. Back on his command ship, Admiral Krelliver continued to study the sensor feeds with growing frustration. Everything indicated that Earth was exactly what it appeared to be: a young civilization taking its first steps into space. Yet in all his years of service, he had never encountered a species that developed so predictably. "Run another deep scan of their lunar base," he ordered. "Focus on gravity distortion patterns." His science officer complied, but the results showed only what they expected: a primitive base using basic rotation to simulate gravity. If there were vast hangars hidden beneath the lunar surface, filled with advanced warships waiting to strike. They remained perfectly concealed. In her underground command center, Director Santos allowed herself a small smile as she watched the Silurians conduct their scans. Humanity had spent 30 years preparing for this moment. They had taken the Silurians' own technology and advanced it in ways the aliens had never imagined. Now they waited, hidden in plain sight, for the Empire to make its move. The greatest deception in human history was about to enter its final phase. And when it did, the Silurian Empire would learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity. The Silurian diplomatic vessel descended through Earth's atmosphere with calculated precision, its crystalline hull refracting sunlight in a deliberate display of technological superiority. The landing site, a specially constructed platform outside the United Nations headquarters, was surrounded by thousands of carefully vetted spectators, all playing their roles in humanity's greatest deception. Ambassador Thexlar adjusted his ceremonial robes as the ship touched down. The humans had reacted exactly as expected to first contact, with a mixture of awe, fear, and desperate eagerness to prove themselves worthy of galactic civilization. Their military forces maintained a respectful distance, their primitive jets circling harmlessly above. What the ambassador couldn't see were the quantum state sensors analyzing every aspect of his ship, the neural network eyes processing terabytes of tactical data, or the hypervelocity kinetic weapons locked onto his position from orbital platforms disguised as communications satellites. Director Santos watched the landing from her command center, her neural interface providing real-time updates from 1,000 different sources. The Silurians are using their standard first contact protocols, she noted. No deviations from historical patterns. The meeting that followed was a masterclass in misdirection. Human leaders asked appropriately naive questions about galactic civilization. They expressed suitable amazement at demonstrations of advanced Silurian technology. They even allowed their scientific experts to be subtly patronized by the ambassador's technical staff. "Your species shows remarkable potential," Thexlar announced magnanimously. "The Empire would be pleased to guide your development, to help you take your rightful place among the stars." Behind her practiced expression of gratitude, UN Secretary General Maya Chen thought about the antimatter production facilities hidden beneath the Mariana Trench, and the fleet of stealth battlecruisers patrolling the Kuiper Belt. "We would be honored to learn from your wisdom," she replied. Over the next 3 months, the deception deepened. The Silurians established a permanent embassy, conducted cultural exchanges, and began mapping Earth's resources. They never noticed that their own security systems had been compromised within hours of installation, or that their encrypted communications were being intercepted and decoded in real time. In a secure facility beneath Antarctica, Colonel Chen supervised the final assembly of quantum torpedoes designed to bypass Silurian shields completely. "Latest intelligence suggests they'll launch their invasion within 2 months," he reported to Santos. "Their fleet is already mobilizing behind Jupiter's orbital plane." "Right on schedule," Santos replied, studying the holographic display showing the positions of humanity's hidden forces. "Are the Luna batteries ready?" "All 2,000 platforms are in position and cloaked. The moment their fleet enters optimal range, we can initiate Protocol Omega." The Silurians' fatal flaw was their absolute certainty in their own superiority. They had conquered so many worlds, absorbed so many species, that they had forgotten how to truly innovate. They had developed their technology along predictable lines, never imagining that a primitive species might approach problems from completely different angles. Humanity had taken the quantum principles from the crashed scout ship and developed them in ways the Silurians had never conceived. Where the Empire built larger power cores, humans created microscopic reactors that could be hidden anywhere. Where they focused on brute force computational power, humanity developed true artificial intelligence that could outthink their targeting systems. Ambassador Thexlar composed his final report to the Imperial Council with complete confidence. Earth was ripe for conquest, technologically advanced enough to be useful, but not enough to pose any real threat. Their military capabilities were precisely what the initial scans had suggested. Their political structure was fragmented and vulnerable. As his transmission was intercepted and analyzed by quantum AI systems that his species had never imagined possible, Director Santos gave the order to begin the final phase of preparation. Throughout the solar system, hidden facilities sprang to life. Dormant weapon systems powered up. Cloaked warships moved into position. The greatest trap in military history was about to be sprung, and the Silurian Empire had no idea they were walking right into it. The Silurian invasion fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect attack formation, 10,000 ships strong. Admiral Krelvor watched with satisfaction as Earth grew larger on his command view screen. Their scans showed exactly what he expected: a handful of primitive orbital defenses, easily overwhelmed. "Begin the attack," he ordered. "Show these primitives the might of the Empire." In her command center, Director Santos watched the Silurian fleet's approach on quantum-enhanced displays. "They've taken position exactly where we predicted. Execute Protocol Omega." Across the solar system, humanity's trap began to spring. What appeared to be a defunct space station near Mars suddenly shed its outer shell, revealing a massive gravity lance. The weapon fired, its beam catching 3 Silurian dreadnoughts and crushing them into quantum singularities. Krelvor's bridge erupted in chaos as alerts blared. "Impossible," he shouted, watching his ships disappear. Their technology level was a lie, Santos whispered, though he couldn't hear her. She gave the next command: "Activate the Luna batteries." The moon's surface rippled as 2,000 hidden weapon platforms emerged from quantum camouflage. They fired in perfect synchronization, their hypervelocity rounds accelerated to near-light speed. The Silurian fleet's shields, designed to stop energy weapons, proved useless against projectiles moving at relativistic velocities. Multiple hull breaches. Krelvor's tactical officer screamed. "Their weapons, they're using principles we've never seen." The true scale of humanity's deception became clear as their real fleet emerged from hiding. Sleek warships powered by microscopic antimatter reactors. Swarms of AI-controlled fighters that could outmaneuver anything in the Silurian arsenal. Stealth cruisers mounting weapons that ignored shield frequencies the Empire thought impossible to bypass. "Launch all fighters," Krelvor ordered, but his crews were already fighting a losing battle. Human quantum AI systems had hacked their targeting computers, causing Silurian ships to fire on their own forces. Drone swarms breached their hulls, releasing nanite weapons that devoured their crystalline armor. From bases hidden beneath the ice of Europa, a second wave of human ships emerged. From the dark side of Mercury, solar-powered weapon platforms revealed themselves. What the Silurians had thought was a primitive civilization revealed itself as a technological force beyond their comprehension. How? Krelvor demanded as another quarter of his fleet vanished in quantum fire. How could they have developed this technology without us knowing? The answer, of course, was human ingenuity combined with 30 years of careful preparation. The quantum technology from the crashed scout ship had been just the beginning. Human scientists had taken those principles and developed them in directions the Silurians had never imagined possible. "Enemy fleet at 60% losses," Colonel Chen reported. "Their formation is breaking." Santos nodded, watching the battle unfold exactly as their simulations had predicted. "Launch the quantum torpedoes. Let's end this." From hidden silos across Earth's surface, thousands of missiles emerged. Their warheads contained technology that would have shocked even the Empire's best scientists. Weapons that could phase through matter itself, defying the basic laws of physics as the Silurians understood them. Krelvor watched in horror as the torpedoes approached. His sensors couldn't even detect them properly. They seemed to exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. "Emergency retreat," he ordered. "All ships, emergency jump." But retreat wasn't as simple as the Silurians expected. Human quantum disruptors had already seeded local space with gravitational distortions, making hyperspace jumps impossible. The trap wasn't just perfect, it was absolute. The pride of the Silurian Empire, their invincible invasion fleet, was about to learn the true cost of underestimating humanity. As the quantum torpedoes struck home, Santos allowed herself a small smile. The deception was over. The real war was about to begin. As the remnants of the Silurian invasion fleet burned in Earth orbit, Director Santos activated humanity's next phase. Quantum communications arrays across the solar system powered up, broadcasting a message to every world in the Empire's domain. The transmission bypassed all known Silurian security protocols, appearing simultaneously on every display device in their territory. People of the Silurian Empire, she began, you have witnessed the defeat of your greatest fleet. Your leaders told you humanity was primitive. They were wrong. We are not your prey. We are not your servants. And we are no longer hiding. In the Imperial Palace on Solara Prime, Emperor Vexthor watched in disbelief as tactical data streamed in. His undefeated armada lay in ruins around a world his advisors had assured him was defenseless. But the true shock was yet to come. Human warships began appearing in systems throughout the Empire, emerging from quantum gates that Silurian sensors couldn't detect. Each vessel carried weapons that made mockery of Imperial defenses. Their AI systems effortlessly hacked and disabled Silurian targeting computers. Their quantum torpedoes phased through the strongest shields as if they didn't exist. We could have destroyed your entire fleet, Santos's message continued. Instead, we chose to disable most of your ships. Your crews are alive, contained in quantum stasis fields. This was not mercy. This was a demonstration. Colonel Chen's tactical display showed the status of humanity's counteroffensive. Stealth teams had already secured critical Imperial facilities on 12 worlds. Quantum disruption fields had isolated key military bases. The Empire's much-vaunted defense network had been compromised before the first shot was fired. Your empire expanded through conquest, believing technological superiority gave you the right to dominate, Santos declared. But while you grew complacent, humanity prepared. We took your basic principles and advanced them beyond your imagining. We developed technologies you thought impossible. To prove her point, human ships began systematically neutralizing Imperial defense platforms. Their weapons didn't destroy the installations. They simply phased them into quantum null space, removing them from normal spacetime without harming their crews. The Empire's response was predictable. Emergency orders went out to their remaining fleets, commanding them to converge on Earth. But humanity had anticipated this too. Quantum mines seeded throughout hyperspace lanes activated, creating gravitational distortions that made faster-than-light travel impossible. We do not seek your destruction, Santos continued. We offer a choice. Abandon your policy of conquest. Join us as equals in a new galactic federation, or watch as we dismantle your empire piece by piece, using technologies you cannot counter or comprehend. Emperor Vexthor's advisors argued for immediate surrender. Others called for a fight to the death. But the decision was already being made for them. Across the Empire, subject worlds were rising up, inspired by humanity's example. The quantum broadcasts had shown them that the Empire wasn't invincible. In her command center, Santos watched the Imperial power structure begin to crumble. 30 years of preparation had led to this moment. Humanity hadn't just developed superior weapons. They had created entirely new branches of physics, new ways of manipulating reality itself. The quantum stasis fields will dissolve in 48 hours, she announced. Your crews will be unharmed. Use this time to consider our offer. The age of empire is over. The age of cooperation begins. As her message ended, Colonel Chen reported that the last pockets of Silurian resistance in the solar system had been neutralized. Humanity's victory wasn't just complete. It had been achieved with minimal loss of life on either side. 1 year after humanity's reveal, the galaxy had transformed. The Great Hall of the newly established Galactic Concordat, on Luna bore witness to this change as representatives from 100 worlds gathered for the first official assembly. Among them sat former Emperor Vex Thor, now serving as the Silurian representative to the new Federation. Director Santos, recently appointed as Earth's primary delegate, stood at the central podium. The chamber's quantum-enhanced acoustics carried her voice clearly to every ear, translator implants seamlessly converting her words into dozens of languages. A year ago, we demonstrated that humanity could have destroyed the Silurian Empire, she began. Instead, we chose a different path. Today, we see the results of that choice. The changes had been profound. Humanity's advanced technology, developed in secret for 3 decades, was now being shared with former imperial worlds. Quantum cores powered cities that once struggled with energy shortages. AI medical systems saved lives that previous technology couldn't help. Planetary defense systems protected former colonies from pirates and raiders. But perhaps the most significant change was philosophical. The Empire's fall had shattered the belief that technological superiority justified domination. Humanity had proved itself more advanced than the Silurians, yet chose cooperation over conquest. Our victory wasn't just about superior weapons, Santos continued. It was about innovation, about seeing possibilities where others saw limitations. We took basic quantum principles and developed them in ways the Empire never imagined. But knowledge means nothing without wisdom to guide its use. In orbit above Earth, the former imperial flagship Pride of Solara underwent its final transformation. Human engineers had replaced its weapons with scientific instruments, converting it into the galaxy's most advanced research vessel. Its first mission would be a cooperative exploration of the galactic core, crewed by scientists from 20 different species. Former Admiral Krelvor, now heading the Joint Exploration Initiative, watched the ship's modification from the lunar observation deck. We thought we knew everything worth knowing, he mused to Colonel Chen. We never considered that a primitive species might surpass us by thinking differently. The Galactic Concordat wasn't just a political alliance, it was a new approach to civilization itself. Member worlds retained their autonomy while sharing knowledge and resources. Quantum communication networks allowed instant coordination across vast distances. AI systems managed trade and resource distribution with perfect efficiency. Our success proves that true strength lies not in domination, but in adaptation, Santos declared. Not in conquest, but in cooperation. The technologies we developed in secret will now serve all species equally. The proof of humanity's commitment came in their willingness to share even their most advanced developments. Quantum gate technology was being installed throughout former imperial space, creating a transportation network that would unite the galaxy. Medical nanites were eliminating diseases that had plagued alien worlds for generations. In the Europan shipyards, now operating openly, vessels of a new design took shape. These weren't warships but exploration craft, built to probe the mysteries of deep space. Their hulls incorporated both human and Silurian technology, improved through cooperation. The age of empires is over, Santos concluded. The age of discovery begins. Together, we will explore not just space, but the very foundations of reality itself. The quantum barriers we learned to breach are just the beginning. There are mysteries waiting that will challenge all our species to grow, to learn, to evolve. As she finished speaking, the assembled delegates rose in unanimous approval. The galaxy's greatest empire had fallen not to violence but to innovation, not to destruction but to transformation. Humanity had proved itself superior not just in technology, but in vision. In her private quarters later, Santos studied the quantum display showing ships of a dozen species moving peacefully through the solar system. The deception was over. The war was won, and the greatest adventure in human history was just beginning.